Hi everyone, this is Minnie and I'm a licensed therapist here in Malaysia. This is our fourth episode on therapy wisdom where I curate wisdoms I learned in therapy rooms and share them to you. And today our topic is going to be about elderly clients. And you'll be surprised that I actually get clients in their 60s to 80s and yes, they come to therapy via online therapy, online counseling, and it is very, very surprising. And when I first got my first clients in that age group, I'm like, am I qualified? Do I know what I'm doing? Like, is it gonna be okay? Oh my goodness. I think about my older clients quite a bit. I guess I learned the most and really expanded my horizon in the mental health industry on what is possible and why it's important to talk about this age group. So I think that by sharing what I've learned from this age group of clients would help not just me but also you in your mental health journey. So, number one is that this will be the first time you've experienced this stage of your life in this time of age. I think we sometimes expect that our parents, the elderlies, grandparents, people of that age group to know what they're doing. We always think that you're already at that age, you should know what you're doing. You're a mother, you should know how things work. You're a father, you should be more composed and things like that. There's a lot of this stigma and all this narratives around certain age group. But if you really think about it, this is also their first time experiencing this stage of life. So, for example, this is their first time being in the 60s, having grandchildren. This is their first time having grandchildren in this age and time, with therapy. This is also their first time learning about the word mental health. This is also their first time learning about depression, anxiety, all these jargons. I think ultimately that also extend to me being more compassionate about myself, on my skills, right? This is also my first time experiencing having clients in certain age group with certain experiences. But if I could have that kindness towards myself, like I give to my clients, I would actually perform better, be willing to ask for help, be okay to move forward even though there will be mistake in the making. Yeah, so I would say just be more compassionate towards others and your experiences. This is also your first time experiencing something in this context. The second one is, no matter how old you are, your childhood experiences do shape you and it will show up more prominently in your older times. Mm, this one is a hard one because what really stuck on to me is that older days, or if you're in the millennial age group, you probably grow up hearing your parents or adults in your life telling you that you'll grow out of it. It's just a phase, you grow out of it. And I don't blame the adults in our lives that some of them actually probably is also learning, like I said in my first point, and this is probably them navigating through whatever it is in their life. But when this group of elderly clients come into the session, and I did my job in like asking about their childhood experiences, learning about where they came from, and I realized that childhood experience does affect us no matter what age we are in. I remember just hearing these stories growing up and how it kind of really solidify throughout the years for them. And especially when there are no place for them to feel like they could breathe. Growing up, a lot of our parents or grandparents or adults in our life are actually coming from a place where survival is the only thing they should focus on. And that, right now at this age where they're able to breathe a little bit, that's when all this childhood memories, trauma, whatever you want to call it, kind of like whoosh up to you. And the sad thing about it is that we don't really talk about it with them as much as we talk about it as like younger adults. And we always say that older people are more stubborn, but I really can understand that because the the older you get, your neurons in your brain actually starts to build like solid pathway. And imagine if you have already built like a road for so many years, there is wear and tear and stuff like that, but it's going to be really hard for that road to change because things around it start shaping around that road, right? So it's gonna be really hard to maybe like unlearn certain patterns or learn new way of thinking. But no, it's not impossible. I guess the first step we have to really do is to really be kinder and be more patient, and of course also to make sense of what's going on for them as well. Sit with them in the mud, stay with them, and if we are able to hold space or hold enough space for older people, it is going to help them make more sense about their experiences as well. My third lesson that I've learned is to not attach your worth in just one aspect of your life. I think a lot of us attach like a big chunk of our worth to career if you're in your early adulthood. And for women, a lot after they become mothers, they actually allot a big chunk of their worth into becoming mothers. And when these clients come in to see me, it's normally at a time where they have lost part of it and they are probably also grieving, which probably doesn't make sense to them. Like, why would I grieve over a job or career? But grief does come in a lot of different forms. It's not just about grieving the loss of somebody, somebody, but it's also grieving for the loss of a life that you could have or had before. It is actually important for us to actually grow our sense of worth in other aspects. If we are able to maybe remind ourselves that we are not just this one identity, we are not just employee, employer, we're not just a therapist, we're not just certain identity, but we are also me, right? We are also a daughter, a son, a mother, a father. We are so many other things. And why is this important? Because if you tie yourself so strongly to certain identity, it's gonna lose someday, and the sense of loss is gonna be huge. And ultimately you really want to build other support system around your life as well. So if let's say today work is not going well, I come home and I'm still a daughter to my mom. I come home, I am still a wife to my husband. I come home and I am still a mother to my child. I guess it's just not generalizing your life as a failure if you lose one aspect of your life. You are so much more than that. And finally, I guess everyone's experience with therapy is going to be very, very different. Because I think I speak Mandarin most of the time when I'm doing therapy sessions with people of this age group. And I remember just finding it hard to say therapy because they don't understand what therapy is, which I think it's fair because if you were to ask me 20 years ago, about therapy, I probably wouldn't understand that as well. I might even have a negative connotation to the word therapy. So I normally use like words like, okay, you're coming in for a lesson, what do you want to learn today? So that really reminds me that different people of different age group is going to have very different experiences with therapy. And even if you and I are in the same age group, we go for therapy, we probably make sense of therapy very, very differently, right? And at different stage of your life, you might need therapy for very different reasons. Everyone's journey is different, and it is very okay to have those different experiences. Okay, so what really inspired me to do this is I remember just having this conversation with someone in their 60s to 80s. We often forget that our parents, our grandparents are also someone's son, someone's kid, right? And when they lost their parents, when their parents pass, we still see them as adult, and nobody or not enough people are seeing them as a kid who have lost their parents as well. And that made me really, really sad. I saw this on a social media and it made me cry. And it said something along the line that a mother who have just lost her mother told her daughter that 妈妈已经没有妈咪了。This is hard, and these are the kind of things that we need to process in therapy centers as well, in the therapy room. And I learned so much from that experience itself. And this social media post actually reminded of me of all my clients who are also mothers or fathers themselves, and a lot of them come in talking about their own parents. I think that really gave them the space to really process that grief properly. Therapy is hard work, yet it's also a really, really beautiful thing. Okay, so woohoo! All right, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Therapy Wisdom. I really hope that we all learn a thing or two from this people, and it make me want to be a better therapist for people of this age group. And if you like more of this, please let me know. It would help a lot if you like, share, and subscribe to my channel. And I will see you next time. Bye. Take care. You deserve this. Ooh.